Sorry, gents, but the game is all yours.
Are we playing a game?
Yes.
What are we playing?
The game of life.
Oh, all right. Man, I'm about 27 years late on starting my turn, I guess. Mike, are you ready?
Yep.
Gabe, you ready in the back?
Indeed.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Glass Half Sports, live here from the Twin Cities. Happy to have you guys with us. Welcome to the greatest sports show on the internet, growing quickly, and as always, joined by my ever faithful co-host, Mike Mensing. How you doing this morning, bud?
I'm doing well today. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little like Luca, stuck in the mud motion-wise, but everything I throw up goes in. So,
all right.
My takes don't miss, to say the least. But glad to have you guys back with us as always. This is our 49th episode. What's the date today, Mike? It's almost June already.
Today is May 26th, even though it feels like September 30th.
Yeah, well, welcome to living in the state of Minnesota, I guess.
Yep.
But what do we got?
Softball in 45-degree weather and rain last
How'd that go?
No, not well. All right, so our show rundown for today, we're going to talk Twins. We do an NBA playoff check-in.
Yep.
We have our Hot Corner segment, and then we're going to go through our NFC North predictions for the season.
Yeah, I did the Vikings last week. Got to take care of the Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and Chicago Bears this week.
Yep.
Bears, much like the Cubs. Not great. A little bit of a preview there for you. If you guys you guys enjoy the content, feel free to like, share, follow, and subscribe on what platforms, Mike?
Yeah, as always, guys, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, YouTube, and hopefully Patreon here very shortly. Actually.
Yeah, as Mike brings that up, actually before we get into that, I will say if you would like to watch us as well, and you are here in the Minnesota area, MCN 6 Saturdays, 10 o'clock, because
we're going to swear here eventually.
Yeah,
which
especially talking about the NFC North, so it's inevitable, right?
Yeah.
So, but on the Patreon front, I know we have our 52nd or our 1 year anniversary episode coming up here, so we're going to be doing some special things for you guys. Make a little bit of an announcement to you now. We are going to cover next to no news on that episode. A lot of what we are going to be doing is trying to book some guests and then answering questions to all of you fans out there. Any sports take that you have, any comparison that you want us to answer, if you run on over to our Patreon page, which I'll drop in the comments section down below, donate any money to the show. Highest dollar comment or highest dollar questions will get asked first, and we'll run through as many of them as we can 3 weeks from today. Should be a good time then. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
Gonna be right around my birthday, so it'll be fun.
Woo! Happy early birthday. We'll get to it then too, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll shove your face in some cake or something.
Nope.
No?
All right, talking Twins.
Yeah, good week. Nothing really to complain about from the games that were. We said it. Play bad teams. Gotta win big against bad teams, right?
Yeah. Had a 6-game winning streak. Unfortunately, it came to an end last night.
Yep.
With a 4-2 loss to Detroit, but I don't see any reason why we can't basically start another streak.
Right. Especially coming home.
Hitting the ball well.
Enough.
Pitching well.
Enough.
Wish Rocco would let our starters go a little bit longer.
Yes.
And then clutch. We're playing clutch as well, getting hits late innings to allow us to beat bad teams.
Yeah, and I do think that has been the difference, right? It's almost like they are playing to the level of their competition, but when it matters, whether it be Polanco, whether it be Buxton, whether it be Correa, whether it's Gio Urshela, Luis Ariz, whether it's Kepler, whether it's Celestino, Nick Gordon, somebody shows up late when you need them to include Duran out of the bullpen and gets us over the finish line, which that's a good recipe for playoff baseball, I feel like, later on down the line.
It is, to have that many players that have that capability to get that hit in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning to put your team over the top is only a good thing.
Yeah. Baseball's a difficult game, folks.
Even our loss to Detroit, we lost 4-2. And I think it was the 8th inning. It was a very late inning.
Yeah.
We had bases loaded with no outs and Correa at the plate. And even though we lost and he didn't do what he needs to do in that situation,
right?
We were in a situation again to win the ball game after winning 6 straight. We're playing very good baseball right now.
I wish somebody would show up to see it.
Yeah.
I literally think the Twins have 50 people in this game
again,
sometimes.
It's 40 degrees and raining, and it's I think you'll start seeing more people out to the ballpark, especially if they continue to play like this in June and July.
Oh, I would agree. I mean, especially with the tickets at $9 a pop.
Right.
But maybe everybody is just a tad bit more interested in going to watch the guy that they sent back down to AAA in Royce Lewis, who's still tearing it up.
The $9 thing.
Yeah.
Is that standing room only?
I have no
What
idea.
is that? Yeah, I don't either. I heard that tickets were $9 as well, but I don't know what
But
that
if you
means.
buy a standing room only ticket right now for $9 and there's 30,000 open seats at Target Field, go find yourself a seat.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, so that is the week that was for Twins baseball. With
Yeah.
that, we're gonna go over our top Twin segment. So
You have to stop looking at my notes before the show. I'm just going to say that now.
I mean, I feel like it just shows how well he played that it was obvious who our top Twin was, and we did pick the same one again.
Yeah, and it's Luis Ariz, who deserves way more playing time than he's getting.
True.
Yeah, the guy's he's leading the majors. He's hitting .427 against fastballs that are thrown for strikes.
He's only missed, I think, 3 out of like 300 of them or something.
Yeah,
as
his
far as contact.
His batting average over the last 7 days is .455 with an on-base percentage of .538. Those are fantastic numbers.
Yeah, so I looked at it since our last show last Thursday. He's 10 for 22 at the plate.
Yeah, he's
Like-
got 10 hits, 2 RBIs. Oh, by the way, he's also drawn 4 walks.
Yep.
So just incredibly efficient in everything that he does. He's very much an old school style ball player. We talked about it last week, man. They're going to start running into a problem here because, yeah, Urshela's hitting .254 on the season, but he's hitting .412 over the last week. Okay. Then you've got Ariz, .347. There's only one spot left in the infield, but you still have to give playing time to Gordon. You still have to give playing time eventually to Jose Miranda, Royce Lewis, and some of these other guys that are going to be. Something's going to have to. There's too many cooks in the kitchen in the infield, in my opinion. Would you agree?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think, yes, obviously, you only have a few positions and you have a lot of talent.
Yes.
But no, because baseball is the one sport that allows you to do this contract game and push.
But this is what we've been trying. This is what the whole CBA negotiation was trying to avoid, is it not?
From a player's perspective, this situation is awful.
Yeah. Well, not only that,
But
we've rostered 13
I'm
pitchers
sorry, but
right
from
now.
a fan / Twins perspective,
Yeah.
this is best case scenario. You have your infield taken care of for the next 8 years if you wanted to.
Yep.
Why would you make a change? Just let it play out.
Just let guys leave for nothing.
I mean, you can try to get. Honestly, I'm going to bring it up again. There are infield pieces that are very valuable
Yes.
that we could replace with an incoming talent, an up and rising star.
Yeah.
So you can let them go for free, or you can get some value back. I'm just saying.
Get some value back. Like, I'm sorry.
There's 2 names that are going to get you the most value out of that infield.
And don't say Correa.
How would he not give you the most value?
I'm not saying that he wouldn't get you the most value, but look it up right now. What are we paying Gio Urshela?
I mean, like, value as far as like what you get back. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but the idea is, right, if you really want to make this happen, would be to get Correa on a long-term deal, yes or no? If you wanted to keep this core together with the team playing so well, ideally you'd like to be able to keep him and Buxton tied together, yes?
Yeah, but at the same time, so this year, yes.
Yeah.
But over the next 5 years,
I'm not saying 5 years. I'm
Well,
just
I'm
saying we
saying
got to
you
get to a
wanna-
place where he doesn't have the ability to opt out.
but you want to sign him to a long-term contract.
I'd like to see him on a 4-year deal after.
Okay, so after this year, which
Yeah.
makes it 5 years.
Yes.
Okay, so the next 5 years, we're back. Welcome back. You compare him to Royce Lewis and putting Royce Lewis in that spot and saying you are our future at shortstop, and you trade Correa away for value because he is a great
How
player.
much are we paying Gio Urshela?
$6.5 million.
Okay. So you're telling me you can't take his $6.5 million, trade him, let Royce Lewis play third, let Correa move over to third.
Were you putting Miranda at 1?
Yeah. And now you have not only the ability to pay Correa.
I'm not advocating for trading Correa. I'm just saying the 2 pieces in the infield currently that are going to get you the most value are Correa and Urshela.
So get rid of Urshela.
That's fine. Go
Go
ahead and do it. You're just not going to get the return that you would for.
You can if
Correa.
you package him with other players, though. And
Sure.
that's what I think the Twins really need to do. They need to take a look at, okay, we've got an MLB level guy.
I don't even know why we're talking about this, to be honest. I think they should keep everything the same. They're playing very well. They're leading the division. They have youth incoming.
We do not have
afterwards.
enough pitching, evident by the fact that we have had to roster 13 pitchers to make a playoff run. We don't have the pitching we need.
I think
Plain and simple.
I think we knew that going into the season, though.
Cool.
Nash
So
told
go
us,
finish that job.
I don't see it happening midseason.
Araya's swing, by the way,
Yeah,
is incredible.
it's his hands
His hits
are very fast,
He's-
very very fast.
I can't believe how much he stays inside the ball. I haven't watched him hit before like this, but holy crap.
He lacks.
He's like Bonds, for real. The way he turns on that ball, that's amazing.
Only difference is Bonds had all of the power that Luis Ariz lacks.
Right.
Like he literally Luis Ariz literally slaps the ball around the field. I'm sure his exit velo is great. His launch angles probably just suck, but his hands are
pretty
incredible. Like
yeah. No, he is. And it's funny because I read an article recently where they and it was an admitted, like, they know they're saying too much, but they're like, this guy athletically is not impressive, but that he is like a Ted Williams as far as his approach to hitting. Like, I mean, they actually pulled out that name, which blew me away.
Well, I mean, and you look at look at these highlights, and a lot of these are out of zone. Like he's hitting balls at his letters. He's hitting balls,
inside,
an inch or
outside.
two off the plate.
So
outside.
he has an average exit velo this year of 89.1.
Oh, I mean, that's not crazy, but if the ball lands, it lands.
As an average, that's pretty solid. And
Yeah.
then his max exit velo this year. Oh, this is kind of cool. So he's also been getting better, right?
Yeah.
So in 2019, his max exit velo was 102. In 2020, it was 103.7. 2021, 104. And this year, 107.3.
Yeah.
What's
So
his high inside pitch? He actually gets on top of
Yeah.
it and around. I mean,
It's nuts.
yeah.
I don't know, man. He is a wonderful talent. And I just think, and here's the other thing that you could do too, by the way. If Gary Sanchez continues to struggle, or if Gary Sanchez gets hot and somebody wants to take a run at him, all of a sudden that frees up your DH
I was
spot.
gonna say, we should be just DHing Arias.
Where
Yeah.
does he play?
All over the place. Left field,
Okay.
second base,
He's
third
Nick
base.
Punto, but not as good in the field.
Okay.
He's a better fielder than Punto.
You think so?
Yes.
His-
I think he's a better player overall than Nick Punto,
His liability is his fielding.
if you say so.
This is the most hypnotic video.
Just
really
watching
is
this guy
great.
hit
Yeah, I
fastballs.
All right, and with that, we're going to preview games 47 through 55 on the schedule. That's
I
going.
cannot believe we're almost 60 games into the baseball season this year.
We're actually doing well. It's weird.
Yeah.
So we have 4 games against Kansas City. That's what I have
Yes.
down. Is that correct?
Yep.
So starting tonight.
Yeah, 5-gamer on the road against Detroit.
Yep.
With one
With
of
a
our rain
doubleheader.
delayed games
Yep.
stacked in
So-
there. So 9 games in 7 days. Very heavy schedule to come for the Twins, but against a bad team, there is a home stretch in there where you get some home cooking, maybe gets a little bit extra rest as well. Mike, what are your expectations for the Twins over the next 9? before we see the fans again?
I would say we need to go at least 6-3, if not like a 7-2. Again, these are bad
Stop
teams.
reading my notes.
It's logic, dude. It's just like basic logic. If you're gonna be a top team in your division, you have to beat up on the bottom teams in your division.
Yeah.
You have to win a majority of those games. This is gonna help us push our lead in the division. The
Sitting at
time is
5
now.
games right now. 5 games ahead of the White Sox.
Yeah, if we can get it to be like 8 going into
that'd be
June,
great.
we'd be in a really good spot because
Yeah.
our June and July get tough.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think 7-2 was where I would like to see them. I mean, look, so far into the year, you were asking what my tick marks were on my note sheet because that's how I know you keep peeking at my notes. We said what they got to win the week every Thursday. Make sure you have more wins than you have losses comparative to the games, and they're 4 for 7 on that front. I mean, they're not doing horrible. They're doing better than 50%. But when you're in a situation like this, I do agree with you where you're up 5 games already. You're playing teams in your division. Your bats are hot. You're abnormally healthy. And your pitching is good enough right now. Yeah, you got to stretch the shit out of that lead because the tougher games are going to come. These teams aren't going to stay bad forever. You know what I mean? Like somebody's going to make an addition. And with the way the Angels are playing, and we looked at the AL at the beginning of the year, kind of breaking things down. That's if you slip, like the White Sox get hot and you slip, you got to be good enough to know that you can secure a wild card spot because the Angels are going to be the other team out there.
Right.
So 7-2 for me. I would agree with you on the Minnesota Twins. Not a whole lot of other news for them though. Just
keep playing good ball, boys.
Yep.
Honestly, just keep it up. Rocco, let our
Oh.
pitchers pitch.
I
Whoa.
didn't know you had a twin. Get it?
Talking Twins.
That's funny.
All right, folks. Well, let us know what your thoughts are on the week that was for the Minnesota Twins, who your best player was over the last 7 days, and just how many wins they should rack up with the 9 games over the next 7 days. We will get back to you here live on the show, because this is an interactive show, or in the comments section afterwards as Gabe rehypnotizes himself on Luis Arise. And we will move on to our next topic, which is, card giveaway time.
Yep. So we are giving away any card out of, how many packs are we opening today? 1, 2. We are opening 2 packs today. So we're going to give away any card out of the 2 packs today. In order to enter the drawing, you have to share.
Listen to that, man.
You have to share the video and or screenshot on social media with the player's name that you would like to win. So if you're on Facebook, you just got to share the clip, share the video with the player's name that you'd like to win. Instagram, share the video. Twitter, take a screenshot and just add us at Glass Half Sports with the card that you would like to win.
Yes, sir. Should we start with college cards or pro cards? I'll let you pick.
Let's go college, because I see.
Start with college cards. That's fair, Michael. All right, whenever Gabe is ready. Da-da-da. Sports cards. I can't hear you,
I
Gabe.
got the zoomed one too. That'll get it, whatever, more tight. Let's see here. But go ahead.
Move around here a little bit.
Hang on. Give me a little hiccup here. There we go.
Bingo.
So who's this dude?
This is James Robinson.
Oh, what's this? What type of card again?
Oh, there's the 2 boxes that are sitting on the table. The Panini Prisms draft picks box from last year and the 2021 Phoenix NFL box from Panini as well. So here we go. James Robinson. Darren Waller. Ooh, here's our auto card. CJ Marble. You know who he plays for?
Nope.
You're going to have to look it up.
How do you spell it? It's not Marble, is it?
M-A-R. Oh, Maribel.
I can look it up.
From Coastal Carolina. Pat Mahomes.
Chicago
Is
Bears.
that a refractor, or are they just all refractors, kind of?
This is a refractor. They're not all refractors.
Okay.
Pat Mahomes. Then we've got Jamie Newman.
Newman.
Russell Wilson.
That's a sick one.
That is a nice one. And Kenneth Gainwell, who is a common draw. Out of here.
Wasn't there one more? Yep.
Trevor Lawrence, All-Americans.
That one's sick.
I do like that one as well. On to the pro cards. Ryan Tannehill. Oh, look, hometown boy Adam Thielen.
Hey, that's a sweet card, too.
You like that? You like that?
I like these Phoenix ones, dude.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Najee Harris. Little diamond insert there.
That's why I always like cards, Gabe. I just like the
Ooh.
ones that look cool.
Just like the pretty ones.
Yeah,
Kadarius Toney
look
here.
at these. These are really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I like these Phoenix ones a lot.
And then a Flamethrowers Peyton Manning card from when he was with the Denver Broncos.
That's cool.
Yes, sir.
I might just take that one.
Here. I'm just kidding. Can't have it. You know, well, if you wanted to enter, Mike, how would they do it?
Well, guys, to enter, all you have to do is share this clip with the card that you want. So I might go on and share with Peyton Manning like 30 times because there are unlimited entries
On any platform.
on any platform.
That's right. While I pack these cards up, Mike, why don't you introduce our hot corner segment and some of the things we're going to be going over?
I would love to, but I think we have some other cards still up for grabs that we
yeah.
should maybe highlight.
Well, I mean, yeah, we've got Ben Skronik.
There's a Christian Pache up here.
Yep. Spencer Torkelson. Andrew Vaughn from the Sox.
There's some cool ones.
There are some good
Is
ones.
Trout gone?
Trout is gone.
Trout is gone.
Trout is gone.
Spencer
nice.
Torkelson is going to shape up to be a big card. That's looking better and better.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
good.
That
He
guy
will be good.
That guy can hit the baseball.
Yeah. Very
Pretty well.
Yep.
Might I add.
Very far. So yeah, next we're gonna go to our NBA playoff hot corner with a few surprises coming out of the series prior to the finals.
That's right.
Let's check in on the top headlines in the NBA.
That's right. Let's do it.
So in the Western Conference, we have the Warriors and the Mavericks.
Yeah, I was a little surprised.
3-1, right?
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see Steph and company dismantle Luka Doncic throughout the course of this series. It's hard for me to admit when I am wrong, but I am coming to you, Michael, right now to say that you were right. I'm not going to say I'm wrong, but I'll tell you that you were right. The Golden State Warriors are just, they're too good.
They're honestly just the Golden State Warriors are the most talented team in the NBA. It's whether or not they're healthy and their shot is on. Because they do rely so much on the deep ball, that's how you can beat them. Is if they come in cold, the Kings can beat them.
Well,
It's just if they're hot, they can literally beat anybody by 30.
Right. But my question is, and I was thinking about this the other night because I was like, holy shit, are we going to be looking at them sweeping the Mavs, going into the finals, and probably being the favorite?
Sweet. I think Mavs got one. It's 3-1
No, I'm
right
saying
now.
when,
Oh yeah.
earlier
I guess
in the
Mavs
week.
got game 4, right?
Yeah, Mavs got game 4, and I was like, oh my God, are they going to sweep them? And then I was like, if they sweep this team and make the finals, then they go in as the favorite because we'll talk about the games in the East here in a second, have been very physical. Nobody's healthy. How much longer before we really have to start talking about Steve Kerr as a Phil Jackson level elite coach and this team as one of the greatest dynasties, not just in basketball history, but in sports history? Listen, Klay Thompson got hurt and lost his lateral quickness. They got rid of Kevin Durant. Draymond Green is obviously not the Draymond Green of old. Steph Curry has had less and less like lighted up for 60 Steph Curry style nights. But now you look at it and they've rebirthed Andrew Wiggins, and they've got Poole, and they've got Kayvon Looney, who plays really good defense, and they look like they're set up for another 3-year run.
I would say Steve Kerr is very close to that conversation.
Super close.
I think Steph Curry is already a Hall of if Steph Curry got out of bed tomorrow and rolled his ankle and said, yeah, I'm just going to be done. He's a Hall of Famer already.
Yeah.
So, and I don't see that, like, Steph hasn't really truly declined.
No.
He just doesn't take the amount of shots that he used to, because he used to kind of have to carry a team.
Right.
He doesn't have to anymore. He has pieces around him like Andrew Wiggins, like Poole. This is the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's what it is. I'm sorry. It's the best team in the NBA. So it's just
From
being
top to
shown
bottom.
that because the Mavericks are a good team in the NBA with an absolute superstar.
Yeah.
And that matchup is not favorable for them.
So what do you think Dallas needs to do? Because they're not winning the series, are they? There's no way they're winning the series.
I mean, it would be like, what, the third time?
It would be the first time ever
Yeah.
that somebody has come back from
Well,
a deficit
I was
like
thinking
this.
3-1. But yeah, I guess they were 3-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not winning the series.
So what does Dallas need to do moving forward? Because I put out a tweet the other night watching the game, and I was like, Luka needs to get with a guy like Alex Guerrero or Tim Grover. Tim Grover trained both Michael Jordan and Kobe. To get his body right. Like, I understand he's got a slower European style of play, but we've seen this with bodies like James Harden's body, Carmelo Anthony. They play a little bit more of a physical style, and by the time you get to the playoffs, whether you like it or not, or it seems feasible or not, the same juice just isn't there. And he needs to be able to take over more in games, late in games where he's already tired. Like, he's just got to get.
I just don't know if it's necessarily because his body is worn out and he's tired, or if it's because he's playing better teams and can't take over the way that he could against.
Do you think he's at his physical peak?
I mean, I don't think anybody is at this point in time, though. Right?
I'm just saying, is he as physically talented as he could be? Has he reached?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
The things he does already at 23,
No,
he'll still probably, fine tune things and get a little better. But
but it's the inches that matter, right? Like for Michael, it was okay. What do I need to do to perfect my routine to make sure at game time I'm ready? For Kobe, it was the same thing, and both of those guys were on teams that were an all-in model on one guy. That's the model that the Mavericks have decided to go with Luka, and so he needs to squeeze every drop out of the fruit.
See, I disagree completely. I thought you were going to go a totally different direction, and actually you fed my argument with where you went.
Sure, go ahead.
With your argument. Let's compare him to Kobe and Michael. That's fine. He's an absolute stud in the league and will be for 10 years.
Yes.
Michael had Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman.
Correct. I'm not saying he doesn't need another star.
And Paxton and
I'm not saying he doesn't need another star.
Kobe had Shaq and Derek Fisher and freaking Meta World Peace, and he had other pieces around him. I can't name 3 other Mavericks.
Yes, you can. Spencer Dinwiddie,
Okay, so
Jalen Brunson, Dwight Powell.
okay, thank you for naming 3 Mavericks. I can't. I knew Spencer Dinwiddie and Jalen Brunson as a bench player in my eyes. So they need more talent in Dallas to surround
I don't
probably
and
one of the best players in the league right now.
interesting little caveat here. Joel Embiid watching the playoffs from his couch where he deserves to be.
Drinking his wine.
Drinking his wine. Commented out that the Heat needed another star, but I think a Joel Embiid Luka combo would make a ton of sense.
Yeah. Gabe Noah, would Phil Jackson have the courage to deliver the press conference that Kerr did after the shooting in Texas?
I didn't see it. Did you?
I did. And to be honest, from what I know about Phil Jackson, yes. I feel like he was like one of the first ones to speak out when nobody was speaking out on anything other than basketball.
Right.
It kind of went like
Zen master himself.
That coach that's kind of almost the old head of the league,
Yeah,
kind of leads the league, has literally gone from Phil Jackson to Greg Popovich, and it is transitioning into Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
So you can almost watch that line go. I think he would, like, if he was coaching today, he would have been the coach in the NBA coming out and saying something. I feel like stuff like that figures into your greatness legacy. I mean, yes and no. I personally really try my best to separate men from work.
Yes.
Aaron Hernandez was an absolute great football player.
Boy, you went
horrible human being off the field,
you didn't
but
have to
a
go
great.
that far, Mike.
Well, I'm just saying it's an example, right? Separate the men from the work.
There are comments that come out of left field, and there are ones that come off the tarmac on the airport across the street.
I'm just saying, like, it was a great example of my point of separating the men from the work.
No, I agree.
But
well, what about Muhammad Ali? People like that. You separate those?
So that's exactly what I was just about to get to. So separate the men from the work, but if the man adds to that work and that legacy, then it helps, right? It can't hurt you, in my opinion, but it can help you. So Muhammad Ali, best boxer of all time and social justice, like, absolute king, basically, at his time, right? So that helps his legacy.
He was a champion.
I'm trying to think of, like,
champion of social justice.
I'm trying to think of athletes that were not good off the court, and I just keep thinking of, like, murderers. The first one that, like, popped in my head after Aaron Hernandez was O.J. Simpson. I was like, okay, I got to get off this track.
Wow, Mike, were you watching Murder Mysteries?
Okay, well, like, I always do. Dennis Rodman, not a great dude off the court, but, like, still, he would have 0.0 assists, 28 rebounds.
Yeah, and 10 points.
And just be ridiculous. So I think it can't hurt your legacy, in my opinion.
Right.
But it can help.
No, I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I think there's a lot of people that don't agree with that.
I think for coaches it does. Like, I mean, he's a leader of men, So, I mean, I see it as something that...
You know where I stand on this. We've had this conversation on this show, and I got shit on quite heavily. You can't, just because they are a public figure, you cannot automatically deem them a role model or attach certain things to their personality or their line of work or their legacy or whatever you want to call it.
I agree with that.
You can't.
So I think when I bashed you last time, you may not have totally understood me.
Yeah.
Just because they're in the public eye as much as they are does not make them a role model.
Correct.
However, if they take that platform and make themselves into a role model,
yes,
that's okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I 100%
think Steve
agree.
Kerr is doing so,
and
whether or not you agree with what he says,
right?
He's doing so peacefully. He's advocating for what he believes in.
He's being an adult about it.
If you watch the statement, he's not saying, it's not like an overtly political, like,
he basically, because you haven't seen it, he got visibly upset.
Yeah.
There were tears.
Okay.
And basically said, why are we not doing, we're not doing anything about this. I'm going to be up here in another month saying the same thing because nothing is being done.
He had facts, though, too. Like, he's like, there's this bill in the Senate. It's been there. It has bipartisan support. It's not, he wasn't, like, he was that specific. And it just struck me because I would agree with you just because you're a public figure. I don't believe you're a role model. I think coaches are.
Yeah, if you're watching this show, I was going to say, if you're watching this show and you're choosing me and Mike as your role models, you got a tough road to hoe.
Yeah, you should choose me.
Yeah, choose Gabe.
Yeah.
Gabe's got a lot of life experience.
A lot of sex worker friends, too.
Damn it. Now we're on late night.
I'm joking.
All right. So, that's our thoughts on the Warriors Mavericks.
So you don't think he should be addressing? I mean, just to clarify, you don't think he should be going to find somebody to help him with, not looking like he's consistently playing in mud.
I think that may or may not be an issue to address. The priority issue to address is surrounding him with more talent.
I totally agree. Every Batman needs a Robin.
And sometimes in the NBA, you need Robin and Alfred.
Well, it's a big three these days to win a championship, right? How well will Luka coincide?
I mean, look at Golden State.
But
Look
here's
at the
thing.
Celtics and Heat on the other side.
They
all have deep.
The thing for me with Golden State is everybody's like, oh, Golden State, has a big three right now. They don't. They have a 1 and they have a 2, and then they have a bunch of like 3As. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not a bad thing.
When Golden State was tearing the league apart, did they have 3 1s? Yeah, they had a healthy Clay, Steph, and Durant, and then it was everyone else. Even Draymond was a step below, a vast step below the talent level of those 3. I'm not saying Luka needs, LeBron James. Luka does not need Joel Embiid. You know what Luka needs? Luka needs a Draymond Green. Luka needs a guy that every night he's going to go out and, he's 8, 15, and 10
to be honest,
every night.
I was a little surprised. We're going to have to wrap up the Maverick stuff here soon, but I was a little surprised that the Kristaps Porzingis duo with him didn't work.
I was not. Kristaps always been ball dominant. And Luka's ball dominant, so that doesn't work.
True. I don't know. I felt like their styles of play actually kind of meshed well. Just they play a little differently. Both of them do.
Yeah, and one of them's
like
never
a traditional.
Healthy.
Yeah, true.
So, all right, let us know what you guys think on Warriors Mavericks and what the Mavericks might need to do in order to get ready for next season, because
it's over.
It's kind of over already in Dallas. Sorry to admit that to you.
And for that reason, Mark Cuban, I'm out.
Nice Shark Tank reference.
All right,
next will be the Lakers. Still do not have a head coach. This created a little.
What?
Yeah, that's our next topic, is it not? Oh no, we have Dan Snyder to be. Oh
no.
NBA Celtics Heat. I'm way ahead on the run sheet. My apologies. Celtics Heat in the East.
Welcome back again.
Yep, I'm here. I'm in the present. I'm not living in the future anymore. Celtics Heat in the East, been an interesting series. Boston goes and takes the game last night to lead the series 3-2. Your thoughts on this one? For me personally, it's been really nice to see old school Eastern Conference physical, defensive-minded basketball.
Yeah, and you knew it was happening with Celtics Heat matchup, right?
Yes.
The Celtics are probably the best defensive team in the league. The Heat play I was trying to explain this to a coworker of mine. Jimmy Butler plays in a way that nobody else plays in.
Yes.
To the point that he's just very difficult to beat.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if he has 11 points and 5 rebounds or 30 points and 20 rebounds.
All of them are loud. Everything he does is loud and impactful.
And he's just, talk about a leader of men, to be honest. I have more respect now for Jimmy Butler than how much I loathed him when he first left Minnesota.
Oh,
yeah. I don't count the Heat out of this series at all because of Jimmy Butler.
No, I agree.
To be honest,
but
it's going to be.
Here's the thing:
it's going to be a great Game 6 and a great possible Game 7.
The sixth man of the year, however, in Tyler Hero, who averaged 21 points per game during the regular season, needs to come back because trying to fill his role with Duncan Robinson, who has been cold shooting lately. I believe actually the Heat shot 15% from the 3-point line last night on 38 attempts.
So how much of that is the Heat missing, and how much of it is the Celtics truly having the best perimeter defense in the league?
I mean, Marcus Smart was the defensive player of the year for a reason, right? But if the Heat want to stand a chance in this, upcoming Game 6, Tyler Hero's got to come back and he's got to play well, because that's about the only prayer that they have. So who's your pick
then? Celtics probably.
I still have this. I still have the Celtics wrapping it up.
6.
Yeah, I think they'll take it in this next game. Listen, man, Jason Tatum, I'm more and more impressed with him every time I watch him play. I know some people have knocked him in this series, but kind of like how you said Jimmy just does what needs to be done to get a win. He had 10 points the other night. He had 10 points earlier in the playoffs. Both times he was held to 15 points or less. He came back the next night and scored over 35.
Right.
He's a guy that will always respond. He's always going to put himself in the right place. He's good in big moments. Like You can't take it from a guy like that, and he's got enough talent on the rest of the roster to make it happen.
For some reason, I can't put my finger on it. I am not rooting for the Celtics.
Are you a Laker fan?
I will say I definitely, so I guess if it came down to Lakers Celtics rivalry, I would have to say I'm Lakers side, but LeBron made it harder.
Yes. Well, LeBron's made me a Celtics fan.
And then honestly, I legit would be somewhat of a Laker fan.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Lakers beating up on the Wolves as much as they did in the early 2000s.
Always beating up on the Wolves. Not just the early 2000s,
but
even in current day.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers are a premier team in the league, but they have something different than a Yankees.
Yeah.
That the Yankees are the dark side. The Lakers are just showtime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fun. It's interesting to watch. It's typically high profile talent.
Yeah. But we're on the East Coast, so we got to talk about this series. You think they wrap it up as well?
Nope.
No, you're gonna put it on the Heat to come back. Are they winning the series?
7.
Who's winning the series? You had the Heat picked last week.
I'll stay Heat. I'll
Really?
stay Heat in 7.
Wow. Boston has home court advantage?
Yep. No, Miami's the one
Miami
seed.
does, so they would have to go back to Miami to close. That's why I think they'll take it.
Game 6.
Game 6.
All right.
They'll understand the assignment.
I think Miami might too, though. They win Game 6, they're going home.
I don't know about that. Let us know what you guys think on both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals games. We will get back to you either live here on the show. I don't know where any of you have been, or in the comment section afterwards as we repost all of our clips on our social media platforms. And now we can get to the topic or the segment that I was referring to earlier in our hot corner. A couple of things going on around the sporting world that we should touch on. Some B-list style stuff, but still important. And we can start with Dan Snyder to be voted out or rumblings of him being voted out as an owner in the NFL, which has never happened before. Mike, what's your take on this when you started?
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally. I think Dan Snyder is a horrible human being. And also, on top of that, he's really bad at his job.
Yeah.
So if you're separating the man from the work with this scenario, he's bad at both.
Yeah.
Just get rid of him. Cut weight.
And it's getting okay. And there's a couple of things now too. Last night, a Vegas judge sided with Gruden on not tossing out his lawsuit against the NFL. This could get really ugly really fast because where did the Gruden leak come from? The Dan Snyder investigation. Now that's a whole nother ball of wax that we're gonna have to unpack as that lawsuit gains some steam for Gruden. But I do on the side of should they vote out Dan Snyder, which it's going to take 24 owners to say, yeah, get the fuck out of here before they kick him out. I understand the dilemma that they're in and why the vote hasn't been cast yet. Because if you make it too easy, Gruden's lawsuit against the NFL blows a bunch of stuff open and Jerry Jones gets tied up in it or other owners get tied up in it. Then there will be an outcry and a precedent set for, oh, well, once this has happened, the vote to remove the owner comes next. And this is how easy it is to get done. So they're trying to stay off of this slippery slope. But if there was ever a time to get rid of him,
I mean, don't put yourself in a position where 75% of your peers would vote you up.
No, I totally agree with you. But I think this is a bigger issue than the NFL ever wants to lead on. I would not be surprised if the vote on Dan Snyder or the suspension of Deshaun Watson happens in a very NFL fashion. Friday after news media or sports media has washed out for the week on a holiday weekend where everybody's going to be up at the cabin doing something. I do get an inkling that we might get something out of the NFL this week, kind of like how they wrapped up the whole Gruden thing on a Friday after all the main sports media had gone off air, right? And they tried to avoid the black eye, so to speak. But my other question is the reason why Goodell says he knows nothing about Snyder being voted out because he knows Washington, not just as a team, not just as a facility, not just as an organization, but as a whole, is so bad that he doesn't want to have to be the one that's responsible for the poop pipe filled quarterbackless Washington Commanders.
I mean, if he truly cares about the league moving forward,
I don't know.
You would get Dan Snyder out of Washington.
I think I would agree with you. Well, like if you're Goodell, do you want to take over that franchise?
You have no choice.
That's what you signed up for as the commissioner, I
It's either you
suppose.
or Dan Snyder, and he can clearly not do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, Roger. You might actually have to earn your money this year.
In the comment section, raise your hand if you would be willing to take over the Washington Commanders on the dismissal of Dan Snyder. You want to take over?
I would be more than willing to take over.
All right. This is Mike's application. 30 seconds. Give me your resume. Why should you be a GM? Go. 9.
I'm always right with my predictions. I know what I'm talking about.
I don't even know if
And
that's
my
remotely
NCAA
true.
14 team had 12 national championships.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. How do your Madden franchise teams usually do?
Pretty well.
Yeah, like 7 rings in 10 years usually.
I mean, you've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, I've lost them like by wide margins on more than one occasion when it comes to gaming.
It's just not hard. You just put pieces. You just put pieces where they go.
It's a puzzle, huh?
It's a puzzle.
All right. Well, that's Mike's resume builder for the Commander's job. We'll see what we can do for you.
Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Watson?
Whoops.
Watson?
I was so excited to do the comment I couldn't think. No, we're talking about sex offenders, so I was just wondering about you guys' favorite quarterback. No, I did hear something that
I feel like
there was some rumblings or some rumor about him,
Yeah.
Possibly getting, and I'm like, holy crap, is it following him now again?
I mean, it's not going to go
I was
anywhere.
going to comment on Gabe mistaking another black man's last name for Jackson, because I know he's done it once before on his podcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What happened recently though with Deshaun Watson?
Nothing. The only thing that I saw was it is confirmed now that there's going to be like a little e-documentary that's coming out. 2 of the the civil suit individuals are going to they're going to speak. They're going to give them a platform to do so, and in a I guess like a small docu-series online or whatever. Other than that, I know that Goodell and them have a decision to make, and that decision is going to have to come here, like I said, before too long. I would not be surprised if we got it tomorrow or on Monday when the league is not, when everybody's off for holiday, to try to, kick dust over the whole thing or sweep it under the rug. But not a whole lot that I know about it as of right now.
What about, though, the fact, think of that from Cleveland's perspective. Set aside the whole guilt, non-guilt, whatever, where you go God, they made that big trade. And, what they're talking about is basically suspending them for a year
Which will then be appealed.
Right.
Oh, it'll go down to 6 games.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I still think of Cleveland's front office who vetted that, who made that call. Boy, what a risky call. And what is that? Where does that leave their franchise if that, that goes bad?
Hey, Gabe. Think if you're Baker Mayfield and you've played
I always
somewhat
like shit for a long time. Oh, sorry. Did I say that?
Who's the best Browns quarterback since 2000?
Johnny Manziel.
Stop it. Stop it right now. It's Baker Mayfield, and you know it.
Brandon Weeden.
He's the only quarterback since the Browns have come back in the year 2000 to have some stability at that position. Am I wrong?
Stability, yeah.
Since and he played
2000?
since 2000,
Wow.
Gabe. And he played for what, 4 years for them? 3 years for them?
4.
4.
This would be his 5th.
Made a playoff appearance or 2.
2. Lost 1-1-1.
So the Cleveland Browns, the destitute, terrible dumpster fire of a team since the year 2000. Baker Mayfield leads them to the playoffs 50% of the time. And now they gamble on a guy who's accused of sexual acts and pay him out the butt. How much did they pay him?
It was 300 some.
And it's all guaranteed.
Yeah.
And now Baker, they refuse to trade him as well because they know that if Deshaun gets suspended.
Yeah, they need a quarterback.
I would be livid if I was Baker Mayfield.
What are you going to do? It's what you signed up for, bud. This isn't like college where he gets in trouble and he just gets to run away from it.
He's not the one who got in trouble, Nicholas. The one who got in trouble just got the $350 million contract and Baker's job.
I'm just saying. In college, in college, he ran from his problems.
I'm just saying, too.
I wonder if there's a caveat in his contract with Cleveland. There's not?
Nope.
No.
The only thing that they have right now is his base salary, his guaranteed money for year 1 is only $1 million. So if they suspend him for the entire season, they can only take $1 million worth of game checks away from him. The rest of it's backloaded. If he plays this year, they just obviously shift a bunch of the money up previous to the season and relieve the cap hit as they move down the line.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You're crazy.
You Quasey? You little Quasey.
I can't believe the Vikings didn't do it, actually. I'm surprised that we didn't sign him. Like, this feels like a Vikings thing.
I would die to have a
'cause it's so
quarterback
bad.
the talent
Yeah,
level
it's
of
just so
Deshaun
awful.
Watson in-house. I love Kirk, but can't remember the last time that we had a legitimate franchise guy.
You know, the list of quarterbacks who've thrown for more than 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns in 4 straight seasons is like 3 people long.
Yes, and
That's
it's Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
And yet, no one seems taken with this dude.
Nope.
Like, that's what's amazing. He can play that well, but we all see
I'm
it.
still
The
not
eye
taking
test.
with him. I'm just
Right.
saying, like, here's the thing about Kirk. Dude's a freaking bowl of ranch. But for a state of Minnesota, that's who you need leading your franchise to a point. It would be nice if he had a little bit more personality.
It'd be great if he was good in big moments.
But if you
Yes,
switched him to
that's-
Deshaun Watson, dude, there would be a huge swath of the fan base that would not like the leader of the team.
Too bad.
I'm just saying. I feel like we're in a market that's more conservative that isn't going to be able to make those types of moves.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We do have to get to this thing here with the Lakers head coach. Juwan Howard comes out and says, really not interested in that job. I like working at Michigan. So what are the Lakers going to do here?
So, for those of you who have seen Winning Time, the rise of the Lakers,
Not
Gabe,
I.
have you seen this?
I have not seen it.
So,
Spoiler alert. Give you 3 seconds to jump off. 1, 2, 3. All right, Mike, go ahead.
Fuck your spoiler alert. It's history. It happened in the 70s. Like, if you don't know it, fuck off. So, in like 1979, Jerry Buss purchases the Lakers.
Yes.
And at the time, Jerry West was the head coach.
Yes.
Jerry West steps down.
Mhm.
Obviously, later in this calendar year, basically, he basically steps down right before training camp. But they like have a difficulty finding a head coach. It's like, this is the head coaching job for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Right.
You don't want this job? Nope. No, I don't. I
don't want it.
I'd rather. And Jerry Tarkanian would rather stay in college coaching at UNLV. Juwan Howard would rather stay in college coaching at Michigan.
Yep.
Like, it's very interesting how history almost repeats itself.
Do you
in-
know
in a
why?
way. It's
You-
because it's a bad team.
It's because of LeBron.
And because it's a bad team.
Right. That LeBron built. Listen. All right, I'm gonna list
You know
off
who
some-
but again, there are similarities, dude. Do you know who the LeBron was for that Lakers
Yeah,
team?
Yes.
Who?
It was Magic.
No.
Or Kareem. Sorry.
It was Kareem.
Yes.
Kareem was the 32-year-old veteran who had an attitude.
Okay.
It's very similar.
Cool.
They'll find a head coach. They'll be fine.
Paul Silas, Brendan Malone, Mike Brown, David Blatt, Luke Walton, Frank Vogel, and in the middle of all this, by the way, Magic Johnson. Those are all individuals that, because they couldn't get along with the attitude of clutch sports and LeBron James, have been dismissed from their jobs since he's come into the league. You want to be a part of that list? Because that's what every coach is looking at now. Because here's the best case scenario. You come in and take this job. You win another championship. LeBron decides to retire. And what happens to every team after LeBron leaves? They go right into the gutter. They blame the coach, and the coach gets fired. And this list, by the way, doesn't include any of those coaches that were running those teams after he left. And I'm sure 50% of them have lost their jobs as well. For a job security purpose, the Lakers could call me tomorrow and I would tell them no. I would want to be nowhere near that circus with LeBron. If the Lakers want to do it and buy in to everything that is this aging relic in LeBron James, make him the player coach. Put 100%, have him bet his legacy on it pretty much and say, now it's on you. If we win, you're the greatest player of all time. You'll do the one thing that Michael didn't do, coach and be the best player on the floor, organize a roster, and win a championship. If we stink with you at the helm, I don't want to hear anything else about it. We pick the coach and you take control back from LeBron because now you hold all the leverage. This shit where he thinks he's bigger than the game has to stop. Has to stop.
I think that can come from a coach.
I don't think it can.
I think it has to. It can't. I mean, realistically, dude, back in the real world, LeBron James is not going to go into the NBA season as a player coach.
Why not?
Because we live in reality, not fantasy.
He's been coaching the team. He's coached all the teams he's been on for the last 5 years.
Sure, as a player, though, like, dude, players can lead and like be coaches on the court, but to be the actual head coach of a basketball team in the NBA, I think that's exactly what he needs, to be completely honest. I think he needs a head coach to come in and tell him that they're the coach and he's the player and that he needs to fill that role. Because guess what?
But he
outside of his scoring numbers, his plus minus numbers and stuff last year were horrible.
Yeah.
He doesn't play defense. He doesn't run the floor.
LeBron hasn't played defense any year outside of the streak that they were on in Miami.
I'm just saying, the situation that the Lakers find themselves in now is eerily similar to the situation that they found themselves in 1979, 1980.
I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying that.
McKinney was able to come in that season, and in the 15 games that he coached before his bike accident, was able to make 33-year-old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar run the floor for the first time basically in his career. Like, I'm just saying, there are coaches out there that have the capability of coming in and telling veterans what to do. They have a presence about them. I personally am not knowledgeable enough on the pool of coaches to name who that is, but that's who they need. They need someone to come in and basically say, this is my job. This is what we're doing.
Was Mike Brown the one that was in Golden State before Kerr got there?
I thought Mike Brown was in Cleveland.
He was in Cleveland. Who was the one that was in Golden State before Kerr took over? That would be the guy that I'm looking to, that I would choose.
What about Mike Brown? I actually thought that was kind of clever at first, like
to bring
I
back.
can see that, yeah.
To bring somebody back like that. I mean, other people are saying if the Sixers get rid of Doc Rivers, it would be Doc Rivers. Huh? There's no way.
No, because the Heat are doing well.
There's no way that you'd get Spoelstra away from Miami. Spoelstra's a Pat Riley, Spoelstra is to Pat Riley what Darth Vader was to Plagueis. Like, those two are tied at the hip for eternity.
Yeah, but what team did Pat Riley really get his...
I don't disagree with you. I'm just telling you, with him, as long as Pat Riley holds the keys to the Heat franchise, Eric Spoelstra will be the head coach.
Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson. That's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, and he now has controversy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only person. Otherwise, like, I don't know if there's a coach out there, and I mean this wholeheartedly. I don't know if there's a coach out there that I would feel comfortable bringing in. I'm not sure, because the issue is not I need to bring in a strong head coach to dial in LeBron. LeBron was the leader of the player movement. LeBron is also the guy who every team he has played for the last decade has just handed the keys to. Let's keep in mind,
it's not working though, Nick.
But listen, he made the choices. He is responsible.
And his choices are not working. So what do? Do you continue to allow him to make choices, or do you come in and say, hey, clearly your choices aren't working. We missed the entire playoffs, even though 66% of the league makes the freaking playoffs. I'm going to do it this way. You're going to sit down and shut up and win another ring.
I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's in for it.
Well,
I don't think LeBron is in for that. But that's the issue. Then you're the team that cut LeBron James. He puts every franchise he plays for in an impossible
as an all-star because of his
position.
Bad attitude, if he wants to be
every team he plays for, they put him in an impossible position.
Sorry.
I got a couple of dark horse picks here.
Yeah.
Get ready. And I don't know if this guy's alive.
That would be a dark horse pick.
Kurt Rambis.
Don't hate it.
Don't hate it.
I think Kurt Rambis is a little too old school in that he wouldn't like, as much as I don't like the way the NBA plays today, that you need to be able to run the floor and space the floor, and Rambis is not known for that.
I honestly think, okay, you wanted me to play Lakers? There's only one name, and I actually said this months ago.
Bill Musselman.
Nope. Coach K. That's the only guy that I think that has a big enough personality and resume to get LeBron to do the things that LeBron wants to do. And he's got a relationship with him after coaching the team in the Olympics for years. He's out on Duke. Say, hey, man, I've only got 2 years left on my deal. Like, let's just tie this thing together, me and you, and let's go see if we can figure it out. That's the only coach I could think of that I would bring in.
I think Coach K is a perfect example of the type of coach that needs to be brought in. Is he the only one that is capable of doing that job? Maybe, maybe not. But I think that's a perfect example of what I'm saying. In like, you need someone like that to come in and take over that franchise.
But Coach K's resume does that for him. There's not another coach out there right now with a resume that beats what LeBron already has on his. 10 straight finals appearances, and
how many wins though?
just saying.
Like, nobody cares if you lose the last game of the season. Nobody cares.
I just cannot imagine Coach K talking in that tone. You know, like it's such a college kid teacher tone, like to NBA players. It's such a hard fit for me to think of. But
He's done it for
does it.
he's done it
in the Olympics,
forever.
yeah.
Coaching the Olympic teams, you know, he's had
Sure.
Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Kevin Durant. He's had Steph Curry. He's had Damian Lillard. He's had
the thing is,
Kawhi
too, is
Leonard.
like with the Coach K thing, you wouldn't even need to be a total hard ass like Coach K is. You would just need to command respect. So like, even a Popovich.
Yep.
But he won't ever leave San Antonio.
No.
But like, even that style of a
Duncan?
coach,
Would you bring Duncan in? He's never had a head coaching job before, but he's a Greg Popovich disciple, and he took over the other year when Pop was out with COVID. Would you bring Duncan in?
does he command enough respect, or is it more of a mutual respect? Like,
I don't
that's what
know.
I'm saying. Like, you almost
Duncan
need
bounced
a power level.
Duncan bounced LeBron from the playoffs twice.
He did. I mean, I don't know.
Did you guys know that? How is Calipari available?
Yeah, but he's sleazy. He should
Too
be on the
sleazy?
He should be on the
Perfect
East
for LA.
Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But then, were you guys aware that Coach K was offered the Lakers job at
No.
one point? So, I mean, I'm saying not
Oh.
in the Kobe era.
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
I did know that. I knew
So
that it was
makes
offered him
sense.
during
There's
the
some
Kobe era.
connection to them.
Well,
Yeah,
he's got a
that's
great
interesting.
relationship with the Buss family
Okay. Yeah.
from his time.
Good
with
call
Kobe.
then.
So that would be the only one. Let us know who you guys think should fill the Lakers head coaching void, or is LeBron James going to do the unthinkable and just go ahead and take on roles like Bill Belichick in the NBA and be the player coach that runs the Lakers next year? And then from a little bit of a crybaby out in LA to a big old crybaby here in Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns makes third team All NBA for the first time in his career. He makes an All NBA team, but this comes with a massive dilemma for the Minnesota Timberwolves as now, because he has made an All NBA team of some sort this far into his career, Karl Anthony Towns is able to cash in on a 4-year, $210 million supermax that could be signed at the end of next season. Mike, your thoughts?
Trade him.
I said it before, get out in front of it. Listen, you're going to learn real quick who Cat is.
We've learned who Cat is.
I know.
The Big Meow is a very talented player, but he's a 3 and a 5 body, and we need a 5.
I understand. I understand that. But everybody's rebuttal is going to be like, oh, well, he's the best player. He's one of the best players on your team.
Which means you'll get high value back.
I agree.
What else you got?
Just because he's eligible for the Supermax does not mean he has to take it, right? Like, let's look at how Brady is built. He could take a pay cut to win a ring. He could, take a backseat financially to make sure that they have the pieces necessary. Is Cat going to do that? Absolutely fucking not. And by the way, just so you know, for everybody out there that, the numbers aren't that bad, take a guess at what he'll make in 2027 if he signs that extension.
In 2027?
Yes.
54.6. 58.4.
58.3. You really want to be paying Cat $58.3 million?
Gabe, you see what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Oh, on the board over there. 0.4. Whatever. Is that what you really want to be paying a guy of Cat's ability and attitude that far into his career? You want to talk
crazy.
about there's no fucking way I'm signing up for this. Zero chance. So I think now you start looking at Cat for Dame Lillard. Like right now.
Yeah.
And you start looking to move D'Angelo Russell to go get DeAndre Ayton. Now you've rebuilt your core.
I don't know who I necessarily want in return specifically, but it's time to move on.
Would you take a draft pick?
I'd take a lot of draft picks.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, a
it would have
lotto,
to be-
right?
Yeah, it would have to be.
I would take a lottery and then an unprotected first the following year.
It would have to be a haul. Like, he is arguably a top 5 center.
Well, who's above him?
What?
Jokic.
Joel, Jokic. It's 2. There's no way he's the 3rd best big man in the league.
Giannis plays the 4 technically, but you can make an argument that Giannis is a better big man, right?
Yeah, a better rebounder for sure. This is where it sucks because the big man position's dead.
But here's the thing, like, even though he's not in the top 5 or even necessarily higher than Cat, when you look at his matchups and who beats his ass,
Yeah.
like, I mean, just think of that Rockets series a couple years ago. Clint Capella was his dad
Yeah.
and is not necessarily better than him. But because of
No.
the style of play, like, that's the thing about Cat, dude. His style of play is not advantageous for him. It's advantageous for his opponents typically.
Yeah.
So it's just
it doesn't fit.
it would be an addition by subtraction by getting rid of him.
Yeah. And
As
then
sad as that
and then
is.
guess what? When Timberwolves fans cry to us, why would you get rid of them now? Because it's going to happen. We post these clips on all the Timberwolves fan pages. Just understand that you're going to get a Supermax player. We already have one on roster. His contract just isn't up yet. Anthony Edwards is going to be a Supermax player, and it's not going to be 4 for 210 with him. It's going to be like 7 or 8 for like 300.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're going to have a guy. I'm not saying get rid of or close the winning window by getting rid of him. Go get somebody that can help Anthony Edwards until his contract is due.
I'm to the point where I want my last memory of Karl Anthony Towns in a Timberwolves jersey to be the panicked, hurried 3-pointer that he shot with like a minute left in Game 6.
Yep, I would agree.
Just
Hey
get him
guys,
outta here.
I actually was looking this up in the back, his contract thing, and I actually figured out these numbers make sense now. The 58.4 even, because what I saw in this is that it says that they're paying him $1 per tier that he cries throughout.
I got
the
you.
year.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we're under.
58.4 million,
We
yeah.
might be underpaying him then.
Yeah, no, he's now a value.
Yeah, right.
A real value pick.
That's a value add. Should we keep him now?
No.
All right.
Move on.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So between him and Kirk Cousins, we have the fucking like country cornered on unlovable stars.
That's so true.
Where
Like-
do you go if you're an unlovable star?
Minnesota. Where do you want to go if you're a quarterback and you'd like your career to end? Indianapolis.
Shh.
Sorry.
All right. With that, we do have maybe 15 minutes left, and we got to race through
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
our NFC North predictions.
It's pretty quick. So let us know what you guys think in the comment section on Hot Corner. Dan Snyder to be voted out why the Lakers don't have a head coach yet, and what the Minnesota Timberwolves should do with Karl Anthony Towns. We'll get back to you here live on the show or in the comments afterwards, and we will move on over to predicting the rest of the NFC North. We can start with the Detroit Lions.
Motor City Kitties.
Dan Campbell's HBO special team. And we can get back to week
They
one
sure
here.
are special, I tell you.
That's right. So, Mike, what do you got for their first, weeks 1 through 5? Just pick, give us the record. Pick a game that you're kind of looking at as an important one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to say 1 and 4. I'm gonna say they get their win week 4 versus Seattle.
Okay, so ironically enough, that's where I have
Not
them
a good
getting.
team.
That's where I have them getting their 1 win as well. Listen, yes, did they get a lot of young talent? Absolutely. It's going to need time to gel.
They're gonna be a problem in the next 2 to 3 years. This year is not it.
Right. And could they win their week 2 game against Washington? Yeah, they absolutely could. But could they also lose that Seattle game? Yes, they absolutely could. I just gave them a coin flip on their winnable games because that's kind of who the Lions are right now. So best case scenario, 1 and 4, I would agree with you there. Right. Moving into weeks 6 through 12, they start that with their bye week 6 really early and then end this stretch against Buffalo at home.
Yeah, I had them actually defeating the Bears. I can't remember. I know their final record that I had, but I can't remember if I had them beating the Giants or not. I don't think so.
I don't think I've ever heard someone say defeat as in a sentence in that way that you did. I think they're going to defeat them this week.
They're gonna beat them.
Gonna
There
beat
we
them
go.
up. Beat them up. Beat them up.
So yeah, 2 and what does that make them? 2 and 11 at this point. 2 and 10.
Yeah, something like that. So I have them with still only 1 win. Listen, that bye is way too early. for them. And then they get away. They got to go away to face Dallas. Then they get Miami at home. Green Bay comes to them. That'll be a win. At Chicago, the only game that I think they could have won would be the Giants game that's up there, but they're in New York. Like, they just got a lot, and we're going to talk about this when we get to the Packers. And I have a bone to pick with the NFL. They just got a tough break there. Like, if that game's at home and it's a 50-50 split, do I trust Dan Campbell enough to cause Daniel Jones enough problems? Yes. In New York, though, coming off a game, at Chicago, you're on a little bit of a road trip there. I don't think you get that win, and then they're going to get road graded by Buffalo.
Well, you don't think they beat Buffalo on Thanksgiving?
Gosh, no.
All right.
Absolutely not. So, still a one-win team all the way through week 12.
Win.
One win.
Oh, really? You don't even have them picking up a win at all on that screen?
Not a single one.
Jesus.
One-win team all the way through there. And then to end the season, weeks 13 through 17, starting with Jacksonville, ending at Green Bay.
I have them defeating. God, no, I can't even say it. I have them.
I will defeat you.
I have them leaving. I have them leaving the game with more points than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
The New York Jets.
Wow.
And the Bears again.
Okay.
Finishing with 5 wins.
So I do also have them making a late season push, but I only have them with 2 wins here. They'll probably get the win against Jacksonville. And they will probably they'll get the win against Chicago at home. They'll split that season series. Bad teams just tend to do that, right? As far as
Yeah, but Chicago's an absolute dumpster fire that we're about to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. But once again, could they beat the Jets? Yeah, they could beat the Jets. But guess what? They got to go on the road to play that game. Like, just a tough break. Is this a 5 or 6 win team? On paper, yes. Looking at the matchups when they're played and where they're played, 3-14. Is where I have the Detroit Lions at the end of the season. They'll rally up another great young crop at the top of the draft and probably make a major step forward from a 3-win team to like an 8 or a 9-win team in 2023.
I was going to say the same. I'm going to say 5-12. Detroit Lions front office and personnel do not fire Dan Campbell.
No, keep him. He's the best thing for their culture.
Because next year you will have 8 to 9 wins.
And they'll be able to get out from under Jared Goff. Gabe, no, I always knew Mike was a time-traveling king from the Middle Ages.
I'm going to defeat you.
Defeat you.
His metal helmet is actually what rubbed off all of his hair.
All right, and with that, we're going to go Chicago Bears.
You didn't like that?
I actually had to hit mute, but I did snicker.
No, I know Gabe. I kind of figured Gabe was going to laugh. Chicago Bears, weeks 1 through 5. Mike, hit it.
Yeah. Chicago
sucks. They're bad.
They're worse.
So bad.
They're worse than my hairline.
Yeah, and that shit is straight running away from your forehead. So
it's terrible. So yeah, first 5 games, I have them 0-5. 0-5.
I have them 1-4.
Who do you have them beating?
Houston.
But that's your boy Davis Mills. Come on, man.
I agree.
Come on, it's Davis Mills, man.
I agree, but it's a home game where they get Houston. Justin Fields should be healthy enough.
But Davis Mills
still.
is the quarterback of the future, and he's so good.
And you're fucking right. Davis Mills is.
Okay, then why can he not beat Chicago?
I don't know. They got to get a win at some time.
No, they don't. They don't have to.
Oh, you think Chicago's like a 0-16 level team then?
If the 2018 Lions and Chicago Bears from this year played each other, they'd tie.
That's fair. They're in bad shape. They're in very bad shape. 1-4 though. They'll get a win against Houston. They got lucky getting that game at home. Then we can move on to weeks 6 through 12. Starting with the Commanders and then ending with the New York Jets once again on the road.
I have them beating the Jets, and that's it.
I have them beating Detroit, and that's it. Like I said, I think it's tough when you're a bad football team and you're playing another bad football team. Ideally, you'd like to play that game at home. That home field advantage does matter to teams of that caliber, right? Like I truly believe that. It might not matter 2 years from now when they've had some time to play together, but so 2-10, just tough losses.
I really like this font that the schedule is in.
This came directly off of the Bears schedule release. And it was literally written in crayon. If that tells you anything about how their season is going to go this year, their printable schedule release that you could hang on your fridge looked like it was done by the 4th graders that run Chicago's franchise right now.
Yeah, Ryan Poles is the worst thing to happen to Chicago.
And who'd they pick up as their head coach? Eberflus?
Yeah, Matt Eberflus.
they're in such bad shape for this upcoming. I'm sorry, Bears fans. If you listen to this show, I am trying to be as nice as possible. The wins that I have given you are not guarantees.
But like, if a big free agent signing for you is Dakota Dozier, just stop. Just burn it all down.
Yeah.
Burn it all down.
All right. Ending the season, weeks 13 through 17, starting off against Green Bay at home and ending at Detroit.
Weeks 13 through 18.
Thank you,
sir. Yeah, I have them. I know it's winning one more game.
I have them winning no more games.
Hmm.
Here's why.
Yeah, you know what? I might have had them beating Houston.
Okay.
But I had their final record at 2-15. But honestly, going back through it just now, it could be 1-16. They're bad, dude. They're really, really, really bad. I don't think they're going to beat many teams at all.
Here's the other thing that we have to consider. Look at where their bye is at in there. It's at week 14. For a injury-prone, unprotected mobile quarterback, a first-time head coach, and a first-time GM, that is the worst time to have that bye, because what you'd like to do is have that bye earlier in the middle of your season, take that time to self-evaluate and make adjustments.
Right.
You have no idea, based on the lack of
You're
offensive
gonna be
line
3
talent
months into the season.
and the lack of offensive line protection that you're going to be able to give to an already proven fragile Justin Fields. Like, this is just they got all the bad breaks. The Lions and the Bears got, and somewhat the Vikings, got all of the bad breaks. So they end the season, in my opinion, at 2-15. We talked about it in baseball. There was a division, the Giants division, where it was like some really good teams, and then there was a drastic drop-off. That is the NFC North this year.
Agreed.
So let's end the year, or end the show, with the ever so loathsome Green Bay Packers. Mike, you should probably pay a little bit more attention to this one. I'm going to start this by saying I have bone to pick with the NFL, because the last 3 years, Aaron Rodgers has been on a 9 to 10 win team, and they win 13 games every year. He wins an MVP award because the NFL is fucking protecting him. Every time I look at these schedules, he gets all of his tough teams coming out of a bye, or they have to play him at home, or he gets the late window against bad teams to pad his stats for another MVP race, or it's outrageous to me. So let's break it down, because the proof is for sure in the pudding. Weeks 1 through 5 starting, obviously, with a loss at Minnesota. You guys know that from last week. Ending in London against the Giants.
I have them going 3-2. Losing at Minnesota, winning at home against Chicago, going to Tampa Bay and losing that game, coming home, defeating Tom Brady's old team, New England, and then winning against New York as well, 3-2.
I have them at 2-3. They will lose to the Vikes. They will lose to Tampa Bay, and then they will lose to New England before they go and shit stomp New York in London.
Okay.
Because and I can already see it. Here's what's going to happen. They'll paint a tail for Aaron Rodgers. They put all of his tough games in the front end. Oh, is it too late now? Did he get too old? Is his contract an issue? Yep. And it'll be this woe is Aaron tale. And then let's get into the rest of the schedule. Weeks 6 through 12. A lot of breaks in this part of the schedule.
Don't worry, Packer fans. You'll probably make the playoffs.
Oh,
you're going to lose first round again. Don't worry.
You're not going to. I hate the fact that I had to give them the record that I gave them. All right. So they start. By the way, the New York game that the other two bad teams in our division would have liked to have had at home. Oh, the Packers get that game at home. And then they end this stretch at Philadelphia. What's their record coming out of this?
Something along the lines of like an 8-4.
That's what I have.
They're going to lose a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, you face, they could lose to Tennessee. They could lose to Dallas. They could lose to Buffalo. Out of those 3 games, I think they lose 2 of them.
I think they lose to Buffalo, but I think that's the only loss, because if you look at Tampa Bay, they get Tampa at home. They get Dallas at home. It's just like, okay, so those are 2 playoff teams.
Tennessee and Dallas, you mean?
Yeah. Those are the 2 playoff teams that, we're just going to gift you the home game. The only real stretch, the only effort we want you to make, Aaron, is to go to Buffalo and play that game because we like Josh Allen a little bit more than we like you. So let's put that game.
And then he had to go at Tampa too. So
So we like Tom Brady and we like Josh Allen a little bit better than we like you.
I
So
think
those
Nick
games
might be onto something.
I will bang the table on this topic all season long. So 8-4 coming out of this stretch because they get it pretty easy.
Do you have all the red like string attached to pictures of Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like in your house right now, and
yeah.
you're just like Charlie Day.
It looks like a criminal investigation in my living room right now. All right, let's get to the back end of the schedule here because it only continues at the back end of the schedule. Okay, they get Chicago. They get a Week 14 bye as well, which, I mean, for Aaron is probably a good thing. We want him to be rested before he heads into the playoffs. They're already a shoo-in. So let's let this team get healthy late.
Can we sign Anthony Barr just for week 1 to come in and break his collarbone?
Or week 17 as well.
We can do it twice. I want Anthony Barr to play 2 games for the Vikings all year.
Against Green Bay.
Against Green Bay.
Cool.
And his only job is to break the collarbone.
Cool. Outside of that, look at that schedule, Mike. Who do they have coming out of the bye?
Los Angeles at home.
Oh, at home. He doesn't have to travel coming out of that bye to play another playoff team. All of the playoff teams that he has to face outside of Buffalo, he gets to play in his home stadium coming off of byes. This is fucking ridiculous to me. Every year for the last 3 years, this shit happens. It drives me nuts. So I look at the schedule and I go, all right, well, they're probably beating Chicago. Coming off of a bye at home, they're probably going to beat the Rams. Let's see here. Did I have them lose? I do have them losing to Miami late because it's hot. Like the weather down there late in the season messes with cold weather teams. Always does. And Tyreek Hill and Tua and Jalen Waddle in that offense by that point in the season will be dialed in and evident by last year. The Dolphins play better late in the season than they do early in the season. So I gave them 1 loss there. But outside of that, the rest of it are wins, and they wind up ending the season 12-5 when they're an 8-win team at best.
Even their fonts suck, Gabe Noah says.
Compared to the Lions one.
Yes. Well, I didn't put a whole lot of effort into this because it's the fucking Packers.
Oh, I thought it was the Packers.
No, I did this. I made these images.
I thought you said the Lions one that they did.
No, the Bears one, the font I took from their schedule release.
Well, then yours, it was an appropriate insult then towards them.
Mm-hmm.
I have them finishing 11-6, and unfortunately, they split with the Vikings. So it's going to come down to our divisional record and then point differentials and stuff like that to see who actually wins the division.
You know how mad I am that I have to sit here and back off my whole Vikings winning the NFC North take from last week because
I don't know.
Because
how mad are you?
Because the NFL just wants to gift Aaron Rodgers more shit. Ugh. It's infuriating.
With that, let us know what you think the NFC North is going to shake out to be. Who wins the NFC North this coming fall? Thank you. And if you are a sports fan with sports friends, are you okay?
I'm going to be okay.
Do you want to do the outro?
Yeah, I can do it.
Do you want to attempt at it?
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on another wonderful Thursday with me and Mike here, 2 Glass Half Sports. As always, glad to have you guys. If you are a Packer fan, yes, I do have disdain for you.
I was waving at the couple.
Oh, there we go.
Us.
Yeah. Make sure you tune in next week as me and Mike are probably going to start to break down some more of the NFL schedule predictions. I think we'll probably tackle the AFC North next week. And we will have a lot more information for you, I'm sure, on the NBA offseason and the playoffs as hopefully the NBA Finals will be well underway. As always, stay warm, stay safe, and enjoy your Memorial weekend. Take care. Just put Mike on pause. It's killing him. Should I leave him like this, guys?
Better activate him.
NBC. No relation to NBC.